hands of the Gia mid lane coming in for the side of HYVE All-Stars.
Exactly that, Sagi. And you got to kind of only hope here for the side of HYVE All-Stars that wasn't their best draft, right? Because obviously it'd be great if it isn't, because they can then go on to draft something a little bit more better, maybe even kind of try and improve that early game that we saw a little bit lackluster there for HYVE All-Stars in the first game. But they are going to rightfully ban out the Zhongfei. I feel like giving that over could spell disaster here for the side of HYVE All-Stars. And it's like we said in the first game when he got drafted, this has been one of the prio picks so far within the entire tournament, and it spread through into the Women's Series, and the success spread even further for this hero. But it's going to be the Chicha being the second ban once again for HYVE All-Stars, but on the side of AG Global, they're going to take away the Ebonite Aspiration as well as the Bloom.
Yeah, both of those won't be available coming in towards this draft year, and HYVE All-Stars setting their sights on towards the potential Yangji and Dolia conversation here, picking up the C Singer first as the first pick, so it gives over to the side of AG Global here. Do you want to take away the Yangjin, or you want to change it up the tempo, go for the aggressive pay to neutralize HYVE All-Stars Yangjin?
We do love a good Parasolar and Bond Weaver combo, right? The idea into the Ali here, you have great sustainability and obviously infinite scaling from the Diadea, but you also have that burst potential here, that single target takedown from the Parasolar Ali for Fire. And we know Fire, especially from the last series we've seen AG Global, can be the carry when needs be, but looking over to HYVE All-Stars, they're going for some more crowd control.
Ooh, crowd control coming in from the side of the Martial Monk towards the Clash lane here. Those True Mantras definitely going to put a lot of pressure on towards Fire. And talking about pressure, there is also the lane counter matchup for Joy 7 on the hands of the DRJ here. For AG Global, a smart pickup as well on towards Xiao Xiao to deny that mid lane counter against their own Parasolar.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same thought process there. The Xiao Xiao Breeze Heart being taken away from the side of HYVE All-Stars. But I mean, if it survives the next two bans, do you reckon the Yixing is the go-to into the mid lane here to kind of get that synergy from the Martial Monk?
I mean, that is also always welcome, right? If you can get the potential Worlds My Board and capture members like Fire, capture members like Orwell, you do set up a pretty good all-in potential coming in from Wuna, or a potential Roamer Engage coming, a Rogue Assassin like the angle coming in to really assassinate some of these players. So that Yixing may be a potential one coming in from HYVE All-Star. Like we allude to that, AG Global did not decide to ban that, so it's a potential one for Zad HYVE.
I mean, now they ban out the Mighty Conqueror as well as obviously Lu Bang here. So they're naturally going to go for the Seafarer, obviously some more kind of like team fight setup, right? Obviously that crucial CC that you get from the boat come through for AG Global could be the potential setup here. And then obviously followed up by a Breeze Heart, and then they just kind of waiting for that burst damage from the Parasolar. But it is going to be Yixing as well as the Soul Guide here as well. So if we're looking in terms of those double ultimates, who are we giving it over to? Is it going to be Boardmaster, or are they just going to throw it out to anybody that where they need to be, like the second golden token, just to get that extra damage reduction from the Magistrate?
I would say that the second ultimate for the Magistrate makes more sense in the early game, and later on we might see more ultimates for potentially like the Boardmaster getting like the double Worlds My Board. Okay, you move with one, here's another one. Go grab yourself one so you can set up Wuna for a great success in all these team fights. But going over to the side of AG Global's draft is much more mid to late game centric. Once the Arlie and the Breeze Heart starts riling up in terms of those gold, once those 2-3 items starts coming in, if HYVE All-Star doesn't find a proper lead or a proper assassination towards these key targets, it's not gonna be looking super duper good for the HYVE All-Star ladies.
That's right. Like the catch potential onto the Parasolar, it's going to be really hard to execute, right? Like there's no real kind of like as soon as you kind of like lock in onto the target, onto the Parasol, what the return of Ali onto the location, there's no real kind of like knock up here. You're really kind of just hoping that maybe taking liberties from Boardmaster here, Gia, just landing them just to try and slow down the Parasolar, maybe the means there, or even trying to get the wave breakers just to kind of get the slow. But still, there's no real kind of like dive onto the backline other than the Martial Monk here, right? Like there's a lot really riding on Wuna here into these team fights and into potential takedown of the Parasolar.
we really need to see how Wuna performs on this martial monk, because a lot of pressure will be put on towards her to potentially jump on towards members like Xiao Xiao, like Fire on the hands of the Arlie. If Wuna can get that perfect scenario for the side of HYVE All-Stars, but for AG Global, they have a very strong and consistent front-to-back composition. 2 carries in the form of the Parasola and the Breeze Heart in the mid and farm, 2 tanks in the form of the Seafarer, the Sun Tzu in towards the Clash lane, the jungle, potential hybrid or potential like full tank on the hands of the Floorborn tank. So these are the strong ones here that we see. Double front line. Adding on to that, there's still a Diadea pumping up those heals here. So for HYVE All-Stars, if they lose the early to mid game, it's not going to be looking good for their mid game team fights.
Yeah, I feel like it is riding on the Clash lanes both a lot as well into these team fights also, right? Because obviously the Seafarer we know, obviously from their kit, they do have the physical damage reduction, right? So they can obviously the physical arm reduction, obviously as they swing away their axe. So maybe that's a potential counter here for the Ogrins. Obviously get that reduction come through, so then the damage is even more impressive from the likes of the Arlie, and not only just the Arlie, but obviously the Peaceful Fist as well. But the switch up of jungle styles here for these two, obviously they've just gone from Agudo, which is obviously great early game, whereas Peaceful Fist, very slow. Once they're into the team fights, it's going to be hard to escape. But at the same time, if they can get the itemization online, you are pretty much having to chuck every ounce of damage just to get the takedown of the Peaceful Fist. It looks like we're going into a little bit of a tech pause here as well, just before getting to game number 2 here. AG Global going against HYVE All-Stars. The Philippine representatives are currently up 1-0 against AG Global, which have taken away that taken a blemish onto the record of AG Global, which is very impressive here. More impressive, we have AG Cat seeming a little bit more of a nerf than a buff for the AG Global Women's Series. We just get thumbs up all around in the event as well. So it's just looking like a good sign, right? Obviously, the vibes are there at the JBK Arena. You definitely want to go and check that out. If you are nearby in Jakarta, if you live locally, go and support the Honor of Kings esports, as well as the ecosystem here as well. So it's obviously the first women's series of this year, as we've obviously Sagi said previously. Sagi is just a little bit somewhere at the moment, but we will get him back for you, ladies and gentlemen, very, very soon. So you've just got me here commenting over this, but very impressive for HYVE All-Stars. And I feel like if they want to maintain this victory, we're going to see that fixture of the early game that we saw was the potential blunder for them in game number 1. So let's see if HYVE All-Stars can do that after this technical pause. We have AG Global looking to try and neutralize this win. As we can see, Team Hack into the stadium here as well. They were one of the first teams to drop out the competition, but they're still here supporting their fellow Malaysian representative that is AG Global in the Women's Series 3. I bet they were wishing they were still on the stage here. Maybe a thing or two they can learn from AG Global from this best of 3. But obviously, as you can see, tension is high here for the side of AG Global.
I think the technical pause not only paused the ladies, it also gave me a timeout because I just disappeared for a brief moment, and right now I'm back. Thank you, Blam, for carrying the broadcast as usual here. But talk to me through this, right, Blam? If you're in the minds of the ladies right now, I know you're pretty cool with the ladies, so how do you pace yourself here? Because I do imagine the pressure is being surmounted on towards AG. They do have a long win streak with this specific roster. So for AG, how did he come back from this deficit?
Hey, don't tell my partner that, okay? That's secret. That's something to be on broadcast, Nagi. But anyway, yeah, I mean, what I was saying, obviously, whilst you were absent from me, and I felt like I was just talking to myself as well. I was alone with my thoughts, okay? I was low. I felt really low, but We're back anyway. I've now got you. I'm safe. It's fine. We've got a safe space. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's going to be really hard for them, right? Obviously, HYVE All-Stars, they just need to kind of like, I feel like I keep holding on this point, but I feel like that is the kind of the only weak thing I saw from them in game number 1 is that early game.
True,
I mean,
true,
the early
true.
game potential of their draft is still not quite the most earliest game centric, but maybe just the way of the resource gathering, I feel like would be the biggest kind of like improvement we could see here from AG Global.
I think
HYVE, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, for HYVE, you make a very good point, especially the early game where we saw that it was more favored into the hands of AG Global in getting those 3,000 to 4,000 heavy gold leads. But that's the thing, right? In this specific composition coming in from HYVE, they cannot afford deficits. Unlike last game, they have much better scaling, they have much better late game insurance in the form of the Zillia Divine Enforcer and also Pack Leader channel in the mid and farm lane. This game, however, very early to mid game centric. Once they lose the early to mid game, every single momentum will go into the hands of AG. So for HYVE All-Star, they need to fix up their game of mistakes, and if they can do, maybe this game will be steamrolled by them. Who knows? Just who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, I've been seeing, obviously, the Soul Guide. Soul Guide, we used to know and love. As soon as that hero got locked into the jungle, it was kind of like, oh no, like, it's kind of like GG, FF at 15, we gotta go again. But obviously, recent nerfs and stuff like that, and the recent performance within the Season 4 Invitational makes me feel otherwise, right? Like, you really need to play this quite aggressively in the early game. You need to make sure that you are scaling from the word go, right? You need to be outscaling the enemy team, not only the jungler, but also like their main damage dealers.
Enemy minions
I fully
will
agree
arrive
with you
in
because
5 seconds.
Orgran has changed up and shift up in terms of the stats, in terms of the entirety of the playstyle. Early to mid game is Orgran's go button, and when the carries start ramping in items, you're just like a punching bag that's being pummeled by the enemy squad here. So Rogue plays such an important role in this game too, if they want to finalize the series with a 2-0 score. But AG ladies here, Zerium, Kitty, Olo, Fire, and Jaja, with this team composition, it looks pretty comfortable, I would say.
Looks very comfortable, right? I mean, hopefully they're just kind of like piloting their main heroes here. Obviously, Fire we've seen before on the Parasolar. Very convincing performance. Obviously, we are seeing a bit of a change up into the 1v1 potentials here. Obviously, the top side of the map is now met with the farm lane going against the Dharma here, because not only that is obviously the Magistrate generally has a better laning phase going up against this Ali.
Of that, which makes it a very good early game plan coming in by the ladies and also the coach, right? But top side here, a very aggressive trade on towards Wuna here. Wuna has to pop the Sprite lane, has to pop the flash, say goodbye to the minions because this is a big win coming in for the side of AG's dual lane.
Yeah, nicely done there by the ladies. I mean, obviously, as well, like we talk about Fire, but you can't talk about Fire unless you got Jaja here and the Diadea. Obviously, those bit of farewells, those enhanced basic attacks, just locking down that member onto the enemy team, just gives the extra bit of time for Fire just to go in, do that burst damage, and get back out. And you just saw there beautifully top side of the map, and obviously bursting out and burning out that flash as well. Not so important, obviously, in terms of that level 4, the 4-minute fight, but right now,
Engage coming in from Kitty here, jumping into all in here, trying to get that Spike Tail Beast in towards his own hands here. For Kitty, they don't get it. It goes over to the side of Posty here. The fight still continues between Rogue here. Rogue getting caught by multiple members here, gets bursted down by the Breeze Heart here. Board catches on the tree, but there's no follow-up coming in from the HYVE All-Star. It's a retreating board, and it is to disengage between AG and HYVE. But beautiful rotation here coming in for the side of AG to capitalize on towards Rogue.
We saw Droid there trying to throw out that golden token, right? It almost landed. It was just a little few sectors to the right there of, oh, well, I mean, if that landed, I feel like they could have got the return kill there for the side of HYVE All-Stars. But this is where you start to see that Orgren really kind of start to falter here for Rogue, is the fact that once it gets focused, once you get knocked up and you're in the air like Tony Hawk's, you are going to take so much damage.
But you can't do a 360 when you're in the air unlike Tony Hawk's. That's the problem coming in for the side of HYVE's Rogue. She's the, I would say, singular frontline coming in from HYVE. And if you fall behind as a tank Orgren, it's super difficult to be sufficiently tanky, especially against Owl, Fire in the mid game. So for her, Rogue, number one thing right now, farm up, find that perfect team fight. You need those items to be relatively strong.
You know what they say? They say heaven is a half pipe, and obviously Soul Guy took one-way ticket up there as well. So obviously that's the first blemish onto the side of HYVE All-Stars, is that one death onto Rogue, which not only sort of like surmises in terms of overall victory here for AG in the early game, but it also means that obviously the GPM took a little bit of a hit there, but still not too much of a blunder when you see that 1v1 into the jungle, right? Obviously XP lead is still in the favor of Rogue, because we just saw that Kitty's only just hit level 7.
Yep, KG just hit level 7 here and already early completion on towards the Hunter's Grip coming in for the side of Rogue here. So more of these rotations will favor a lot, but look at it all in here coming in for the side of Kitty here. Chunking out Rogue prior to this Tyrant fight here. No ulti will be available coming in from this Soul Guide over. So this is not going to be an easy one coming in for HYVE, but Owo caught in a difficult place here is half HP. There is still a healing view. Set sail, catching on towards Joy here. Beautifully cleansed by the ultimate here, but Posty won't be allowed to escape here. Coming in from the backside here, Wuna finds the solo kill on towards Owo here, but with 1-for-1 exchange is looking really solid here. Re-engage coming in by Jiajia's Diadea here, trying to go on towards Wuna, but we do see Jiajia, no flash, no one to escape.
The precipice
gets executed by Rogue.
Gets seared staked, not seared stated, but seared staked. That is a cooked Jar Jar here for the side of AG Global. That T1 into the mid lane looking pretty low, taking liberties. The boat misses as well. That's not what you want, right? That's definitely very much a near miss, but Wuna in that whole team fight was
nice set! Nice set onto his fire here. Beautiful set coming in by the side of Wuna once again. First one onto his Owo, second one onto his fire, and this is the start of something new because they just got the Tyrant and they got that tier 1, the most important tower in the early game.
Not even got the Tyrant just yet. They get the T1 pre-Tyrant. They are looking very dominant. HYVE was just like, okay, you got the first blood. They just wiped the blood off the cheek, and they was like, okay, let's put the boxing gloves on. Let's take them into our territory, which is that team fight. And like I've already said, Wuna into that mid lane fight, beautiful. Into that fight around the blue buff. Again, perfection. You are seeing this Clash lane player is definitely one of the carries here on the side of HYVE. Definitely one of the focal points here for the Philippine representatives.
One word for you: Philippines and Dharma. They never fail to show up because we see Chammy1, we see Miggy, and right now we're seeing Wuna. They have it in their blood.
Exactly. It's just one of those key things, right? They love this hero, and I mean, rightfully so, right? I mean, the team fight potential, the turning tide mechanics that this one hero has and the impact is phenomenal into team fights. And like we've already said about the PKL teams, the one thing that they prize above everything within Honor of Kings is a good team fight.
That is true, right? Yeah, the way they team fight is very aggressive, but they utilize their micro mechanics to outblast their opponents here. And right now in this game, it's still looking like a 50-50 in towards the goalie here. Rogue gets set up by the Breeze Heart here, goes extremely low, utilizes the Sprite Link to keep herself alive. Set sail here, beautifully blocked by Posty to negate any sort of advancement coming in from AG.
Oh, look at that. I mean, that's exactly right. Like, obviously, the Sea Singer is definitely going to be able to kind of, like, sink the ship here of the Seafarer. But speaking of sinking ships, those T1s are definitely sinking a little bit too fast here for my liking onto the side of AG Global. The board disconnect.
Board catches onto Jiajia here. Jiajia caught in no man's land here. We see Wuna going in deep, catching onto his Jiajia here, but that is a bad trade coming in for the side of HYVE. Shutdown going in favor for the side of Fire here. Losing their roam, but trading a successful kill on towards the HYVE Clash lane.
Yeah, I mean, they got the shutdown onto Wuna, which is obviously a little bit of a Brucey bonus here for the side of AG Global. And the fact is, Wuna did have the flash, but I feel like the CC was just too much for her to use the flash out of that team fight, or at least for, you know what, I'm cooked, I'm not going to use my flash or exhaust it, because I'm going to die regardless.
Aggressive invade as well coming in for the side of AG Global here. They do get a knock-up on towards Posty here. The DPS coming in from Fire and Owo is starting to ramp up here. And right now, they're setting their sights on this tier 1. But nice flash engage on towards Fire here coming in from Wuna. Immediately assassinating Arlie, removing her from this map. Cross map though, Kitty does get taken down. Next member, Seria. Jiajia falls. Owo is the next. And the Ace going in towards the side of HYVE. All-Stars triple kill on the hands of Rogue.
Wow, Rogue was just like, yeah, I played a bit of a bad game, but now I'm going to show you that the Soul Guide is going to guide you into the realm of death here. And HYVE now currently sat at 9 kills to 5 and currently ahead by about 1.4k gold. And they've really struggled to kind of get this gold lead in both of these games, but here is a bit of a breakdown here. All set up beautifully by Wuna, but then all captured by the board master in that beautiful board, and then that's it. We do see, obviously, the Soul Guy just taking that runway and then taking that triple kill here for HYVE All-Stars. A beautiful team fight once again.
This is the pre-game draft discussion. Do they take the Yixing? Heck yeah, they do! Nice setup once again coming in from Gia as well as my board, capturing multiple members. And to add it off, Wuna has been so aggressive. She doesn't need the board. She finds the opportunity and decimates fire here. Board doesn't land onto no one here. It's just a warning one. Refresh going on to the hands of Gia. She will get another board for the next play.
Yeah, I think we've got to answer to our question we asked in the draft, right? It's like, hey, where's that Celestial medley going to land? And it's landing on these boards. It just always plays there. The Radiance comes through. Kitty.
Yeah, Posty gets taken down here. A beautiful catch coming in for the side of AG here. Both sending into the face of Rogue here, but no continuance will come in for the side of all gamers here. Fire popping the frenzy, goes in for the 1v1. Gets caught in towards the board, but same. No follow-up, but on towards the cross map here. We do see HYVE All-Stars clash lane Wuna get a free turret on towards the bot map.
I feel weird, man. Like watching a PKL or a Philippines team play, and there's no team fight. Like they're not always clumped as a 5. Is pretty unusual. The fact there's a macro maestro here onto the side of HYVE All-Stars. Wuna's just like, oh, okay, we know when we can take the team fights, and there's other times where it's like, okay, we've got the focus of AG Global. You go put some damage onto their map.
Yeah, flashes away, but that's a wall. That's not an exit. That gets taken down by the side of the Fire Jaja combination here. But on towards the meantime here, we do see HYVE successfully getting that Tyrant in towards their pocket. Do they pick up this fight? It's looking like they do. Rogue coming in. Will she get the steal? She does get the steal once again in the 10-minute mark here. Both lands on towards the wall here. Flash engage coming in from Sirius here. Rogue first one to fall. Wuna assassinating Sirius in the exchange so far. But what a steal once again coming in from HYVE Jungler.
Oh my goodness, such a great steal. That's 2 crucial kill peps in one series. They are not messing around, and Fire's just getting run down here.
My goodness! Same spot, same time, same outcome. What is going on, AG Global?
I've got a smile ear to ear. HYVE All-Stars have got a fan in me. I mean, the way they're playing this game is so entertaining, and you know for a fact what we've seen on stage.
Catches on towards Jaja here. Jaja being caught in the Taker's liberties here, but they do trade Gia back towards the side for a 1v1.
They do trade that 1v1 there. They still have 23 seconds left on this Tyrant and 22 seconds to do more damage to these T2s. And there goes the T2 top side of the map here as well. AG Global's base is not looking too good. And you can imagine with all the fans here in the Philippines in the crowd, they are definitely chanting Laban Pilipinas.
Wow, your accent has been improving really well here, Blam. Gotta say props to your girlfriend here. Yeah, it's the girlfriend effect.
It's the food, it's the wife, it's everything. But no, it's the life takedown of the T3 here to the bot side of the map as well. Well played there once again by HYVE All-Stars. AG once again find themselves in that same situation, right? Is they gotta kind of try and find that ultimate defense within their base, and they only have 2 strides left to try and come out of this point. But right now, not only is it just to push the lanes, okay, a bit of a dive here, maybe a little bit overzealous here by Jaja, but get caught in the port.
Board does catch us onto a Jaja here. That could have been big if it catches multiple members here, but for the side of HYVE, they can take it slow and play for the next objective here. Minion Wave is being sent towards the clash lane here, but I do imagine the play will be slowed down. They will have to wait for the next upcoming objective, which is Tyrant and Overlord.
Yeah, Tyrant Overlord are going to be popped up very, very soon as well. I mean, they pretty much are looking just for another good team fight here, I feel like. But no, there's no real setup here unless they can get T3 takedown here.
Wow, another T3 takedown here for it. Defensive one to set away the members coming in from AG.
Yep, AG again, just losing every bow in their stride here in terms of any kind of like big defense onto their crystal. But HYVE know for a fact, like you were saying in the draft as well, like obviously we are past and getting into and pretty much teetering on the edge of that late game part. But the fact is that they didn't have the greatest lead up to this point on the side of AG Global, so they're still playing catch up here in terms of their scaling.
For the side of AG, they really need to find a miracle team fight. If they can find Droid 7 that currently has like what 12,000 gold in a 13 minutes game, that could potentially bring them back to an equal footing here. But does HYVE allow them to do so? Because HYVE right now positioning very strategically for the next upcoming Tyrant in 5 seconds.
Yep, positioned very well. Obviously, I feel like Sirium here on the Seafarer has had like 1 or 2 boats that's actually connected and been very successful, but overall has been blocked by obviously Posty on the Sea Singer here, the Dolia, really just taking those on the chin. And this is the one thing I really like about the HYVE All-Stars as well, right? They know what parts, like what moving parts do what, right? Like obviously, if you're able to take that ultimate on the chin, amazing, do it. If it means we're going to have a much better setup into the team fights, they're able and willing to put ego aside and just allow their team to shine. And you're seeing it time and time again here.
It's like everybody is doing their role perfectly to contribute for this potential win right now. As you can see, they're knocking on towards this high ground here. Beautiful board. Catches on towards Orwell here. Set sail. Doesn't land onto anybody here. This final tier 3 coming in from AG has fallen. Potentially just like their hopes for a comeback in this series.
I mean, we looked at the point of HYVE All-Stars and was thinking that maybe this could be the potential downfall. Is the fact that obviously match duration is a little bit longer than AG's as usual. But the fact is, they are a slow cooker of a team, right? They are just making sure the meat's marinated and the food is on point.
That beautiful board as well, forcing the flash on towards Orwell here. The next board coming in, Orwell will not have a flash to successfully dodge away from danger here, and the minion waves are starting to mount a lot of pressure in towards the base of AG Global here. HYVE does look like they want to settle the score in the next upcoming waves that will be arriving in a short moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely do or die here for the side of AG Global. They need to get either a solid, good team fight here, take a few members off the side of HYVE, or their crystal falls.
As we do see the initial engage on towards the side of Kitty here, going extremely low thanks to the token being sent off by Droid 7 here. Sirium forces the flash, has to take on a retreat here. The board catches on towards multiple members here, and once again, Wuna finding fire in the midst of the team fight here, and with the minions being cleared up, there is still a breathing hope coming in from AG, but it has been shattered coming in by the side of HYVE All-Stars here. 5 ladies, 1 dream. They take down AG and they become the first ever champions of the Honor of Kings Women's Series in 2026.
Wow. This is definitely momentum here for the obviously future Philippines teams that are going to be playing in Season 4 Invitational to try and get their way further and further into that grand finals tomorrow. But this is your first women's champion of 2026, and it's HYVE All-Star really putting that bar high, because AG Global going into this one 2-0'd everybody, as you're seeing the 2-0s being thrown up here as well. Woona's just like, hey, don't worry about it. I had my Dharma. Those team fights were all mine to begin with.
That was not just only a single 2-0 that they did across the entire tournament. They did like what? 1, 2, 3 2-0s, a clean sweep across all their BO3s to claim victorious in this final one. And their opponents were historically one of the best women teams so far that we had back in 2025, crushed by HYVE All-Stars in a 2-0 fashion here. Well done to the Philippines representative in today's women's series. They definitely did very well in this BO3.
They've done their homework, man. Like, literally, if they've watched this team be champion back-to-back of the previous women's series, they've been watching in the shadows and waiting for their moment to strike, just like Wuna was with that Dharma, right? Like, just always waiting in the wing, waiting for that perfect setup of the team fight. Very, very clean. But yeah, I think props out. I think Droid 7 may potentially be the MVP again, or Wuna may contest that MVP position, because not only the gold setup for Droid 7, the disparity against the Arlies on AG side of Fire, it was just huge.
I think it goes back to our discussion just now once again. every single member coming in from HYVE All-Star contributed to the success of the entirety of the team. Posties always actively looking for the blocks on towards the set sail coming in from the side of Cerium. And then you see Droid 7, although there wasn't a lot of these flashy moments, but the way that she's farming gold, the way that she's positioning, always top tier in making sure that she's out DPSing against Fire's Arlie in that majority of the game. And finally, the one shiny player, the one that's shining the most in those team fights, Wuna. We were talking about, hey, it's gonna be a board into the ultimate coming in from the Yixing Dharma combo, but no. Every single fight, before the board is actually formed, we already see Wuna flying in like Superman and already getting that one punch in on towards Fire.
Literally, that was one thing going through my head was literally just one punch here for the side of HYVE All-Stars. They were making every fist count into those team fights, but I feel like we should revisit that point because obviously everybody in that team knew their role, and like if the role was to take that ultimate on the chin, exactly that was Postie's goal, and posting that victory was definitely a sure sign here for HYVE All-Stars to basically be like, okay, so if you do take the ultimate to face, it's not a problem, let's just make sure it counts. And I feel like that's something that some of the teams within the global scene don't do, right? As soon as that ultimate comes through and it lands onto someone, it feels like the morale just goes from up here all the way down here, whereas HYVE is kind of just like, okay, time to go, boom, let's go straight into it.
Yeah, one really key ultimate that's being blocked by a Roman just bravely standing in front really means a lot coming in for the side of HYVE All-Stars rotations. And then the team fights coming in from Wuna and Gia, so crystal clear. And one more player that we need to highlight definitely, same exact spot, same exact timing. How in the world did Rogue get back-to-back steals in the same objective against AG at the same timing? That was just bonkers. Bonkers, absolute bonkers.
And the fact is, it wasn't like it was not contested, right? Like you saw that she was kind of like to the side of the camp as well and had time to just wait. Nobody really contested on the side of AG. So I feel like that was at the fault of AG maybe, that not enough pressure was put onto Rogue and really too much confidence was put onto their own jungler Kitty to actually get the smite there. So I feel like maybe the mistakes were starting to show definitely in game number 2, whereas game number 1, AG looked pretty flawless in the early game, but then it was just kind of the team fights that let them down.
It's the stress that's piling up on towards them, right? Trying to be the first ever champions here in 2026 for Women's Series, trying to defend the title that they have really attained back in 2025. So losing out that game 1, although having such a monstrous lead, really pressured them to try their absolute best in game 2. But when things don't go their way, especially that Overlord steal, you know for a fact that that's going to be a big morale hit towards them, especially in an elimination match plan. Eliminations.
Yeah, they're probably saying to Blacklist International, like, hey, just cheat. Look, I can do it, you can do it, right? Like, it's possible here for you to get those steals, so don't be scared of getting those contests. But we're going to go show to the stage to go and look at our champions of the Honor of Kings Women's Series 3.
The ladies of the Honor of Kings Women's Series have fought with heart, resilience, and pride, earning their place on this stage.
Wow, they did. And may we call up upon Bigatron by Fatality from Indonesia to receive their award as the 3rd place winner of the Honor of Kings Women's Series.
Once again, we'd like to call on the 3rd place, Bigatron by Vitality from Indonesia. And to present the award, may we call on AG Cat, Honor of Kings Global Esports Cultural Ambassador.
Everybody look at the camera. Let's take the photo up and behold, the 3rd place champion.
Let's move closer together. Congratulations to Bigatron by Vitality from Indonesia. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Thank you so much, Bigatron.
Thank you so much.
You may now take your seat.
And Kat, please stay. And now we're gonna call on our 2nd place, AG Global from Malaysia. AG Global from Malaysia is our second placer for the Honor of Kings Women's Series.
Now everybody smile. Congratulations for being the runner-up. You guys did the best, and will still be the best. And look at the camera. Congratulations once again, AG Global.
Let's give Team Malaysia, AG Global, a big round of applause. Congratulations, ladies. Thank you so much. And now, let us call on the champions of the Honor of Kings Women's Series from the Philippines, HYVE All-Star. Congratulations, HYVE All-Star.
Congratulations, HYVE. You guys did so well in this tournament, becoming the new champions of today, beating AG Global. I want to ask Una, how do you feel today being the most dominant Clash lane on the game, getting so many moments? And you've been a very dominant team in this series and the entire tournament. What makes your team so strong?
Actually, pinaghandaan po talaga namin tong tournament na to. And honestly, hindi namin ina-expect na magiging 2-0 yung series namin with AG. So, thank you po sa lahat na nag-support sa amin at nagtiwala. And thank you sa work namin, HYVE International!
They're really prepared for this tournament. But you know, they respect AG Global so much, they did not expect it to be a 2-0. And she thanks everybody for supporting them. Job well done, ladies. Job well done. Now, for Gia, you are paving the way for all the women for esports, especially here for Honor of Kings, being the first Honor of Kings Queens Series champion. Now, what are your hopes for the ecosystem for Honor of Kings?
First of all, I want to thank you, Tencent, and all the organizers of this event. I hope that girls will try more to compete and join us as we celebrate womanhood in this event. I hope that everyone will have the courage to join this event.
And you know, with that courage that you guys have shown, you're paving the way and setting a good example for everybody. We're so proud of you, Gia.
Thank you.
Such an amazing run for you guys. But Joy, I want to ask you something too, because you are one of the strongest players on this team. And I want to ask, what is your advice for all the women out there who want to join and become a professional HOK player and maybe become champion like you? Any advice for the women's?
To be honest, it was really mahirap yung women's dito sa gaming. But since we paved the way for you guys, ayun, I'm wanting you, gusto ko na maglaro din kayo kasi ayun nga, nandito na kami. Ang advice ko lang is, as long as you guys want, go play and play and play until kung gusto nyo, then go. Yun lang yun. Sundin nyo na sa puso nyo, yun lang po.
To be honest, it's really hard to be playing in the women's scene in esports. And now they've paved the way, and they hope all the women will follow their footsteps and do what you must. If you want to play, go do it. They show that they can do it, and so can you. Congratulations. And now it's time to award HYVE All-Star. Kat, you may do the honors. Congratulations.
And for that, let us take a photo to commemorate the first champions of the Kings Women's Series. Thank you so much, HYVE All-Stars. You did an amazing job. And before that, thank you, AG Cat. You may please be seated.
Thank you. Thank you, Kat. You may now take your seat. And with this, ladies, it is time. You know what? I'm going to take this because we are going to do something memorable for you. You may now surround your trophy. Floor, let's call on Floor. Floor. Floor, Coach Floor, come on up. Your team needs you. HYVE International would like to call the coach a big contributor to this moment. All right, ladies and Floor, you may now surround your trophy. And it's time to claim what's rightfully yours in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, your champion, HYVE All-Star. HYVE All-Star is your very first honor of King's Women's Series champion. Their journey has been defined by passion and excellence in the gorge, commanding respect, rising above the rest. And now, to conclude this, we'd like to call on our second and third place for the photo op. Once again, from Malaysia and Indonesia. This proves the place of women in the international scene of esports. All these ladies have fought hard, deserving their place in the international stage. Ladies, give us your best smile for the camera. Everybody, let's give them a big round of applause. And this concludes the Honor of Kings Women's Series. Congratulations to all the ladies. And you know what? There's more coming up next. Because up next, it's going to be the semifinals to determine the last two teams that will make it to the grand stage of the finals. So keep it here only in KIS4.